Welcome to the Word on the Street podcast, the first one of the year 2014, otherwise known as the year 2000 and Chael. With me tonight, my co-host and producer, Jake from the MMA podcast. How are you doing, Jake?
Very good, very good. What about yourself?
Good year so far. I'm in it. Also with us, the legendary, the living legend himself, Team Sonnen Coach, trainer. He's going off to TUF Brazil. We'll ask him about that. He's actually set to leave, I believe, tomorrow. He is none other than Coach Jamie Huey. How are you doing, Coach?
Outstanding. Couldn't be better, guys.
Good to hear it, man. And our guest for tonight, she is MMA fighter, women's MMA fighter, Glena Avila. Excuse me, little frog in my throat. Glena Avila. Thank you so much for coming on the show. She is, just a little background for people that don't know, she is the former Full Contact Fighting Federation champion in two divisions, 115 pounds and 125 pounds. And she's also, according to Wiki, she'll correct me if I'm wrong, the Shamrock Promotions 117-pound champion. She's worked with the likes of Mike Pierce, Misha Tate, our hero, Chael Sonnen. Welcome to the show, Glena. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Did I get anything wrong?
No, you actually got that right. I'm actually just excited to be here, and thanks for having me.
Good. Thank you for your time. I always, try to do the fighter research before an interview, but you know how Wiki is. Like sometimes I've been embarrassed before getting facts wrong. So I figured I'd start off by just making sure that I have my facts straight. You are female MMA fighter. You picked it up seemingly out of nowhere later on in life. Is that much true? I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, can you I know everybody asks you, it's the hack question, but how did you get into MMA? I got to start with that one.
Well, it's kind of funny. I grew up with all brothers, so kind of we were rough and tumble, and so like through high school and whatnot, I got in a lot of fights. I wasn't really a troublemaker, but I would say I was more of a troubled youth. And then I grew up, did what most people do, you get married, you have kids, you have a job, buy a house, do all these things. But I just always felt like something was missing, and I didn't know what it was. And then, of course, years later, I just by chance came across watching girls fight on a YouTube video. And it just so happened to be Full Contact Fighting Federation, which is partially owned by Chael.
Yeah.
And I saw those girls fighting, and I was just amazed by it. And I contacted Kevin Keeney to ask him what I would have to do if I ever wanted to try and compete. And that's basically how it started.
Nice. And just to make sure these wiki facts are correct, currently you're fighting in the 115-pound strawweight division. Is that still the case?
Yes.
And your style is grappling, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Any other styles that you picked up along the way that maybe they didn't post on Wiki yet? I'll edit that shit later if I have to myself.
No, I'd say that's pretty much correct. It's like most MMA fighters. It's just a combination of everything kind of thrown together, and everything's been kind of tweaked and changed a little bit so that you can fight people with other disciplines. But yeah.
And it says you're fighting out of Portland, Oregon, but then I something about North Dakota as well, from if memory serves. Where are you right now?
I'm in Portland. I fought in North Dakota twice, and I understand I have a pretty good fan base there. But I'm still a Portland girl. I grew up in the Gorge area, and I love it here.
Nice. Are you freezing your ass off right now, or do you got it under control?
I am actually. I am. Yeah. I don't like being cold.
You're actually well. Are you positive about that? Because it says your nickname is Heartless. So maybe you are, maybe you do like being a little cold. What's the story behind the nickname Heartless?
Um, actually, my son gave me that name, and it was it was just a funny little game that me and my son and his friends, we were kind of doing this point sparring, and I outsparred my son, and so then him and his friends joked around and called me Heartless for a while, and then when I started fighting, it just kind of was a natural carryover.
Yeah, and I will ask you a little bit about, you did mention the fact that you're a mother, and I always, any MMA fighter with kids, I have to ask them, what advice do you give your children, or will you give your children about dealing with bullies and fighting, like outside of the cage? You know what I mean? What's the
hmm
bully advice that you give them? You tell them to hit back or not hit back at all, avoid it. What?
You know, if it's possible to avoid a situation, although I think that when you're dealing with bullies, a lot of times it's not avoidable.
Mhm.
And with my kids, with my son, I was more particular about him not being physically violent as he was a little boy. And I realized later on, when he started having problems where he wasn't sticking up for himself, that I might have pushed that a little too far, and then we kind of recorrected that with both my kids. I think that if there's a way around it, then obviously don't engage. But if it comes to a point of protecting yourself, you have every right to do that.
And have you started showing them a little bit? Do they train with you every now and then, or are they too young?
My son's older, actually. My son is out of the house and grown.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You did a good job then.
When he was a teenager, we did do a lot of stuff together. We went to did train together and did stuff just for fun. He chooses to do other things. He's more of a break dancer.
That's awesome.
Kind of person. And my daughter occasionally will do a children's class or whatever. She likes to do jujitsu above anything else. So I have to be really careful not to push it on her.
I hear you. And Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey, like I said, he's also on the call with us. Glena. I forgot to ask you, is she really heartless? What can you tell us about Glena?
No, Glenn is awesome. I remember, back when I was just a boxing coach and I didn't know anything about all this MMA stuff. I actually remember Chell inviting me down to, I think it was my first FTFF, and I believe Glenn was on that card. I'm positive she was, because she was wearing all pink, and she went in there and she beat the snot out of somebody, and it was, I was like kind of like, whoa. I mean, I can't remember the details of the fight, but I do specifically remember going to my first amateur MMA event in Glena, being on that card. So she's kind of like Liz, she's one of those sweet people until the bell rings, and then you probably don't want to be standing across the cage from her unless you're the referee. But I will actually. I went out bowling with Mike Pierce yesterday, and he had mentioned that, Glena, you are doing some type of an anti-bullying thing where you'll actually go into schools and talk to kids about that?
Oh, yeah. I have been invited on a couple of occasions to come in and bring my championship belts and talk to the kids about the difference between what I do and bullying, and some of the really negative things that can happen when kids take that too far.
Nice. Good work. 2014 actually looks like it's going to be a big year for you, possibly, Glena. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm not reading off of my screen here, but you actually have an upcoming documentary film that's going to premiere at the Slam Dance Film Festival this year, from what I understand. This month, actually. That's still going down, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And
yes. And the film.
If I could just
Yeah, go
just to
ahead.
explain why this is such a big deal. With Slam Dance, this is the 20th anniversary festival for them, and the Glena documentary was one of 8 chosen out of over 5,000 film submissions that they
Wow.
had.
Wow, that's big. That's
Also,
big.
the movie Glena, the judges actually had a unanimous decision to bring it into the festival, which isn't very typical.
Yeah.
And we're basically right now competing with 7 other documentaries for the top spot. And one of those documentaries is co-produced by Lance Bass from NSYNC.
Oh wow. So no matter what, like this is already a successful documentary. It's just a matter of how much more hype is going to be piled on. Not hype in the bad way. I mean, well, let me ask you, the documentary film is named after you, Glenna. So my first question is, how weird is it to have a film named after you? And second, have you seen the full cut?
I have not seen it yet.
Wow.
I have not.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
How much have you seen? Like any of it? Is it going to be a surprise? Like when are you going to see it?
I'm probably going to see it for the first time next week, and then I'll see it again because I'm also going down to the festival to see it.
Oh, wow.
But the weird part is not the name of it, really. The weird part is when I do see little clips of it and I see little bits and pieces of my life because it took about 3 years to make. And he filmed me over, about a 2-year period of time, which there's so much that's changed in my life between then and now. And so when I watch it, I can't help it. Like, I get a frog in my throat. I'm just all choked up because it's like I forgot about those struggles. I forgot how hard I worked to get here.
Yeah. Yeah, it says filming of Glenna, the film, began in November of 2010. 2010. So yeah, this has definitely been a long time in the making. Glenna, and this is the part where I'm reading people. It's an upcoming American documentary film directed by Alan. I'm gonna screw this up. Lubke.
Yes, that was right.
Oh wow.
Good job.
Wow. If you want to know more, you go to glennathemovie.com. That's Glenna with one N. Glena. Glennathemovie.com to learn more about it. To help promote the movie, I know there's a Indiegogo thing going on. I'm not too familiar with Indiegogo, but all I know is it's going to help Glenna and this film and the filmmakers. Apparently, the film tells the story of you as a single mother fighting to become a professional mixed martial artist. But obviously, no spoilers. You are a professional mixed martial artist right now.
Yes.
So, it's got to thrill you that the UFC recently announced a new women's strawweight division, which is your division. Are you willing to take it to that level? Is that a goal?
Actually, yeah, it is. I have plans to try out along with probably every other 115er you can imagine to try out to get. There's 5 remaining spots for the Ultimate Fighter 20. There's 5 open spots that we're going to all be vying for.
Oh, awesome.
And I fully intend to go down and try out, yeah.
Oh, nice. Be supporting you all the way. I also hear that Invicta FC might be looking for new talent now that the UFC absorbed some of their fighters from that division. What's your take on Invicta FC? Are you willing to throw down there?
Oh, of course. Invicta would be, to me, an equal honor to getting in the UFC. I feel like at this point it's pretty obvious that there's a partnership between the two fight companies. So, I think what Invicta has been doing for women is amazing, and I'd be greatly honored to get an opportunity to fight for them as well.
Definitely love that organization. We've interviewed a few Invicta fighters, Rose, Liz McCarthy. Now you, Glenna. Like, best of luck to you, definitely. But I have to ask you, one last question before we let you go. And thank you so much for your time here on the Word and Street podcast. Your last 2 professional wins were via armbar. Of course, that begs the question. What'd you think of the Rousey-Tate rematch fight, and do you think you could take Ronda?
No. But let's see. I think Ronda is phenomenally talented, and I respect her for that. And I do respect her for bringing all the attention that she has to women in sport. I mean, look at everything that's been happening ever since she got on the scene. But I am a friend of Misha's, and Misha's helped me out before, and so when I was watching the rematch, it was an emotional response more than it was of just a fan of fighting.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that at least Misha didn't get the arm broken again. She, like, you know, a lot of people booed Ronda, but when Misha tapped, that was it. You didn't see a Paul Harris incident there. So credit at least to Ronda for that. But yeah, you worked with Misha Tate, and that's got to be cool. I mean, I'm sure you've worked with a lot of big names. Who's been the most helpful out there? I mean, like, who are you training with currently? Like, are you in training right now? Do you have an upcoming fight? What's going on? Anything to plug or promote, basically?
Well, I'm hopefully fighting on March 1st. I understand that there's negotiations happening right now, and if that happens, it's against somebody that I've been really vying for, and I'm hoping that fight goes through. If not, I am training full time, so I'm open to hear fight offers if anybody has anything that they're wanting to throw me into.
Hell yeah!
And yeah,
and
I
where
think
can people
as far as,
and where can they contact you? I mean, even fans that just want to touch base with you, where can they find Glena?
I would say Twitter's probably the easiest one, and my handle's MMA Heartless. Easy to find me.
I love that. MMA Heartless, people, follow her right now. Glena, honestly, thank you so much for your time. GlenaTheMovie.com. You're gonna have a big year. I mean, I know I said last question, but seriously, are you excited about 2014? I mean,
I am.
damn, you
I
have a
feel like
movie
it's my
coming out with
time.
your
Like,
name
I'm
on
ready.
it. Yeah, you should be ready. I mean, holy shit. We wish you nothing but the best of luck. Hopefully, you know, after you hit it big, you'll still remember the little guys, little podcasters, and and hopefully we can have you back on the show sometime soon. Any friend of Coach Jamie's is a friend of this show, and so there's always an open seat for you.
Thank you.
Yep, MMA Heartless. She is Glena Avila. Follow her on Twitter. Check out GlenaTheMovie.com. That's Glena with one N. And anything else you'd like to say before we let you go, Glena?
No, I just want to give a shout out to my management team, Jason Howe, Stephen Valentine, Jeremy Nee, and everybody at Iridian Sports Agency. Just want to give them a shout out and thank them for looking out for me.
Iridium Sports. Also follow them too, man. We support everybody. If you support MMA, we support you. And there you have it. Glena, the movie's coming out. Check it out. She hasn't even seen it yet. I mean, wow. That's I can't wait to see it myself, actually. The fact that it is like that it was picked for the Slam Dance Film Festival, that is pretty huge, people. And the director, I believe, he even has an Emmy under his belt, from what I understand.
True story.
Yeah, so check Glena the movie, guys. Glena, thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Take care of those kids. Can't wait to see your next fight. I will definitely promote it. Just let me know. Let us know when it's going down.
Thank you for having me, guys.
No problem. You have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
There she goes, Glena Avila. Wow. A very nice person, actually. Coach Huey, thanks for hooking that one up. I didn't know the documentary was like, this is going to be a pretty big deal. I mean, WMMA, having a documentary like this come out, and it's not like a Ronda-based one. This is a single mother that decided to strap on some gloves and go at it and get in the cage and fight. Wow.
I remember hearing about it a couple of years ago, I think, or maybe a year ago. And, Glena has a real big following down here when she was fighting amateur at the FCFF. So, this attractive girl getting in there wearing all pink, and she had 1,000 people down there screaming for her. So,
yeah, pretty excited. I haven't seen it, obviously. She hasn't seen it. I haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing it myself.
Yeah, no kid. That's crazy that she hadn't seen the. I mean, if I had a movie called Ramses, like I would demand a watch. I'd be like, send me your latest edit, you son of a bitch.
We got to start working on that.
Yep. And sorry, Jake had a question.
Ramses the movie. I like it. I think we can do something.
It'll
What do you
come
think,
out.
Jake?
The word on the street
let's do it.
tales, dude. Yep. Oh, you don't even want to know where I've been, people.
It could be a damn trilogy.
Yep.
That would be past rated R, is what you're saying.
Yep. I've been through some mean streets, but Coach, you're about to enter a mean country. Anybody doesn't know, Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey, is a Team Sonnen coach. He is going to be returning as Team Sonnen coach in TUF Brazil. I believe it's number 3. Chael Sonnen versus Wanderlei Silva. Coach, fill the crowd in. When do you leave? How do you feel about it? Are you ready? What's the word on the street?
We're ready, man. Excited, leaving tomorrow. Gonna try to keep the emphasis, obviously, on the contestants on the show, similar to what we did TUF 17. Keeping in mind that it's about them, it's not about us. We get to play a supported role. It's an honor for us to be, there to help these guys. Obviously, work their way up, and you get a Kelvin, Uriah, and a Tor, and a Kevin, Casey, and a Luke, and everybody, man, to get all these guys, ready to go out there and do what they do best, and the best guy is going to win, and hopefully we can have put our guys in the position for that to be us again. But there's kind of a camaraderie that comes with all of them. I'm voting for everybody. You know what I mean? I'm voting for Clint Hester. I'm voting for Bubba McDaniels and all these guys. I'm hoping that this season is going to be similar to 17 in that sense, because generally every single guy on that other team could call me right now, and I'd be there for in regards to being a supportive role as far as getting somebody ready for a fight. Unless you were fighting somebody else, like Tor's fighting Bubba. I'm like, oh man, come on, I'm done with this TUF 17 stuff. It's fight somebody else. I'm tired of seeing these guys fight each other.
Joe Silva, man.
But I think it's kind of going to be a different season, but it's really going to kind of depend. I know what we're going down there for. We're going down there to be successful and help these guys be successful. That's where our emphasis is going to be. I really don't know the motives of the other team. I don't know the coaches. I don't know Wanderlei very well. I think I met him twice, and the few times I met him, he was joking and he was laughing and he was in a great mood, and he seems like he seemed like a decent guy when I met him, but obviously sometimes circumstances dictate the mood. We're going down to his country, man. So, it's kind of like, I think you made the comparison like Rocky going into Russia to fight the Russian. I don't know what it's going to be like. I have really trying not to have any preconceived notion of what the mood is going to be when we get there. Yeah. But like I said, I'm going to do my best to look out for my friends, look out for the coaches, and then also, be down there for the guys that are going to be competing on the show, because, the big picture is it's about them. It's not about us. So that's kind of my mindset going into it right now.
Yeah. And TUF Brazil, of course, it was announced that you're going to be coaching heavyweights and middleweights. No light heavyweights, of course. Why would Chael want to train his competition up? You know what I'm saying? So is that going to be is there any difference between a heavyweight and a middleweight as far as what your drilling, boxing drilling is going to be like? I mean, are you just going to encourage slugfests, or I really don't know too much. Yeah.
Here's here's the thing. Custom Auto said one time. He says, "I don't create, I uncover," and that's kind of one of my my philosophies going into this too. Is, I've got 6 weeks with these guys. We all do as coaches. You're not going to build Rome in 6 weeks, but I'm going to take what's there and personally try to make it better than I found it. These guys all have different skill sets. These guys all have coaches that have gotten them to on the show. So, as a coach on the show, you gotta be careful. You don't show up and then try to take all the credit and the glory for that, because some of these guys, obviously, these guys have been working hard to get there, and they've got, hopefully they've got coaches that, care about them and have gotten them to that point. Sometimes, you get the one like, Uriah, where he kind of did it by himself. He really didn't have that support group. So, 6 weeks is a little bit of time to make some adjustments. But I think what we do better than anything is kind of bring the mental approach into it for some of these guys. It is a grind. It's stressful living in a house. One day you're eating breakfast sitting next to your best friend, and 3 days later you find out that you're cutting weight because you're going to get in there and you're going to fight this kid. Mm-hmm. So, the mental approach, I think, is the biggest piece of it that we're going to bring to the table. But, it's like I said, you don't create, you uncover. So I'm going to take what's there, make it better. As far as middleweight, heavyweight, not really, if you got a short guy, there's a certain way he's going to fight, or he fights and you can clean up. A tall guy, a certain way you can fight, you're going to clean it up. But the basics are the basics for a reason. You get out there, move your feet, throw your jab. My first thought process is all these guys are going to be jiu-jitsu practitioners, but that's not really the reality of it. There's guys going to be there that have a karate base. There's going to be guys, I cornered Mike Pierce. We fought a guy from Brazil, and he was a kickboxer. So the preconceived notion is they're all going to be jiu-jitsu guys, but I don't think that's reality. So take what you get and try to make it better. That's my philosophy.
Yep. And the cat is pretty much out of the bag. Chael Sonnen already in Brazil, probably as of today. Again, what everyone's wondering, how the hell is he going to survive? What the atmosphere is going to be like? What type of security he's going to have? Of course, you can't go into any of those details, but I've asked you this before, but, now that it's coming up, you're going to be there tomorrow. How concerned are you about your own safety?
Me and Vinny kind of joked about this the other day, but, my thought process going it, who will be one of our coaches, Vinny Magalesh, who's from Brazil. It's a big country. There's parts that are very dangerous to be in. Even though we may be staying in a nicer area, obviously we still kind of keep our wits about each other, about ourselves and for each other. So, there's always concerns. But, when Chael asked me, to be a part of this again, my thought was, okay, first of all, do I know what I'm signing up for? And what I'm signing up for is putting myself in a situation where I potentially might have to be in a dangerous situation, but with the intent that, I'm looking out for my guys. I'm looking out for Clayton. I'm looking out for Scott. I'm looking out for Vinny. I'm looking out for Chael.
That was going to be my question. Are you willing to take a bullet for Chael Sonnen, sir?
Well, hopefully that's not something I have to consider, but, I kind of agreed that when I signed the contract to go over there and do this, that there might be potential situations where I'm going to have to, try to be a mediator. And if, something happens in that situation, then that, like I said, that's what I signed up for. So, but, I don't know. I mean, I'm getting this weird sense that, just based on some of the text messages, some of the people that are reaching out to me from Brazil, Chael might possibly be more famous in Brazil than he is
Superstar.
here in the States.
Yeah.
We've got all this media coming out of Brazil. I'm getting hit up for interviews left and right from Brazilian media,
Yep.
people that want to do interviews. He's got a fan club over there that wants to meet us and get autographs. He's got a soccer team named after him over there. This guy, Chael, is a huge star over there. And it's kind of like, it might be a situation where it was like Muhammad Ali in the 60s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, the racial tone of the country at that time wasn't favorable to him. But there were so many people that hated him. They kind of loved hating him.
They love
You
a
know what I
good
mean?
heel. Everybody loves a good heel.
And it's like Muhammad Ali said. He goes, you know, people buy tickets because they love me. People buy tickets because they hate me. But they all buy tickets. So I kind of have this feeling that people are going to want to get close to him just to kind of see, you know, what is this guy's deal? What is he like? You know, they're doing interviews on the coaches. We didn't get that type of exposure as coaches as much to that degree when we did TUF 17 in Las Vegas. But everybody wants to know who Chael's coaches are over there. And I've done a couple press, you know, things I've tweeted out and whatnot. And they want to kind of know our background, who we are as people. And they've dug through the Word on the Street podcast and they've used some quotes and, you know what I mean? So
yeah, Jake translated.
Yeah, I had a question about one of those. They broke down the Team Darkside coaching staff, and I don't have it in front of me word for word, but it was along the lines of Coach Jamie Huey is on the loudmouth side, like Chael Sonnen. What did you say to piss off the Brazilian media, Coach?
Well, you know, I wondered that too. And then one of the girls from, I think the head of the Chael Sonnen fan club in Brazil, was trying to explain to me that I think that they kind of quoted that. They
lost in translation.
Because it was kind of like Coach Jamie Huey is a loudmouth similar to that of Chael Sonnen. But then it gave me a whole bunch of compliments after that. Like, you know, he understands that being provocative can be a benefit. Also, I bring a motivational speech type of a persona like Chael does, which, you know, I mean, that's like exaggerating. I don't think anybody has the ability to do what Chael does. Just the fact that they compare me to him when it comes to that type of, you know, that's an honor, really.
Yeah.
But, you know, so there might be some translation issues. But, you know, what I thought about it at first, I was, you know, it's kind of one of those things, man. You're kind of honored they even know who you are, you know. When Mike Tyson came on The Ultimate Fighter 17, he walked in the dressing room, and we didn't know, and he walks in with Dana, and I'm like, oh, my God. I don't get starstruck around people. I just, it's not something I do. But I mean, Mike Tyson, I grew up watching this guy. I was in 6th grade, and we ran up to my buddy's house and watched him knock out Spinks in 92 seconds in the first round. I mean, this is Mike Tyson. Him and Rocky are what got me in boxing. Boxing got me in MMA, which got, you know what I mean? Yep. So, you know, I don't get starstruck, but
Mike Tyson,
you know, I kind of. What's that?
Mike Tyson is huge, though, man. Like, no one can blame you for that one.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, I don't know. It's all, I kind of lost my train of thought here where
we were talking. No, actually, I wanted to bring up the fact, I have been speaking with, if you can call it that, I've been communicating with the Brazilian Chael Sonnen fan club. They will, a representative and a translator from the Chael Sonnen Brazil fan club will be on the show next week.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to have to pre-record it because I already know it's going to be a disaster, just judging from the back and forth in the DMs on the Twitters. I've been, so we're definitely going to have the Brazilian Chael Sonnen fan club on next week. That's going to be cool. And Coach, you know, as soon as I heard that Chilson was going to do another TUF in Brazil. I knew immediately. I got to make sure they get an internet connection. So I mean, they have several computers there, and I did reserve time. Um, so hopefully you let me know. There should be an internet pipeline in Brazil available. Are you going to be in the dark totally? Do you think will we hear from you? What can we expect?
No, they're putting us in a nice place. So I imagine, obviously we'll touch base when I get down there, and then we'll figure out, how that's all going to work, and then definitely, yeah, absolutely. If there's a will or a way, I'll jump on the podcast with you guys and try to, give you a verbal tour of the experience in regards to what it's like thus far, minus any, information that I can't give up. But other than that, yeah, there's going to be 1,000 stories coming out of this. So all the stuff that we can talk about, it'll be a good podcast. Absolutely.
Yep. And unfortunately, because of the time difference, which I'm actually not sure which part of Brazil you're going to be in, but I'm pretty sure there is a time difference. But hopefully we're going to pre-record the interview, like I said, with the Brazilian Chelsea fan club. Hopefully you can join us for that. I'll give you all the details or whatever. Because like right now it's 4 a.m. in the morning for them. So obviously this type of podcast live is going to work. So it will be pre-recorded. But they were begging for you to be on with them. Like that's a big deal to them, dude. So I'll let you know about that. Hopefully you can do them that favor. And they're begging Dana White and the UFC to meet up with Chael and Team Sonnen. Do you think that's going to happen? I
really can't. I don't know. She was hitting me up as well. And I just said, you got to go through Dana on this. It's not my call.
But you'd be willing to.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm asked and there's a way to do it, then absolutely. But I don't know what the security measures are. I really, until I get down there and we get briefed,
that's what I
have no clue. I just don't even know what to expect. I've got my Joe Louis pocket knife, my bouncy ball, my
your two hands, man. You got
my boxer Smurf. I got my KG shirt and my Word on the Street podcast T-shirt, and that's the security as far as I know at this point. What else to expect? I don't know.
Nobody's gonna mess with the living legend, man. If they do try, I feel bad for that person, man. Hopefully it'll be incident free. I mean, I do want clowns to show up. I want clown incidents, but I mean, like security incident free. You know what I mean? Definitely. But expect it all, man. And
absolutely. Anybody that is kind of borderlining on that UFC Fight Pass, you would probably better start looking into it, because I got a feeling that this is a season that you're not going to want to miss.
Yeah, no kidding. And it is going to be exclusively available on the Fight Pass, the UFC Fight Pass. If you're in the US and you want to watch TUF Brazil 3, Chael Sonnen versus Wanderlei Silva, get the UFC Fight Pass. They're still working on it. They're still tweaking on it. But I've used it. I don't bullshit you guys. If it was a piece of shit, I would be on here saying the UFC Fight Pass is a piece of shit. But it is not. Everything, I've had no problem. High quality. They're going to increase the library, make things easier to find, organize this and that. But other than that, great service. The live event, I caught it. It went down without a hitch on my end, and I was on a shitty internet connection, and it still streamed like they had servers for miles and for days. The UFC Fight Pass, people. That's where you're going to watch TUF Brazil in the U.S. I don't know if they're going to re-air it on like Fox Sports 2 or Fox Sports 1 or something. If they do, it'll probably be like 3 in the morning. Who the hell knows? But you want that Fight Pass. Coach, Chael's already down there. Have you had a chance to talk to him yet? Do we even know that his plane landed safely? Is he alive?
I haven't talked to him. It's been I haven't talked to him today.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a long trip, man. It's a 16-hour journey. So, yeah, last thing I'm going to do is bother that guy with my nonsense. So, obviously we'll see him when we get down there. Well, not tomorrow. I mean, we leave tomorrow, but I don't know. Technically, we get in Thursday. You know, it's such a long trip.
Mm-hmm. And for those who don't know, who are the team Sonnen coaches in Brazil?
Obviously, Chael, head coach Clayton Hires, Scott McQuarrie, Vinny Michaelis, and myself.
Vinny is going to be a great asset to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So lucky you guys hooked up with him a long time ago, man. Wow. The Brazilian fan club actually recommended the best translation app and they would probably know their shit. I hope you saw that tweet earlier from them.
I did, yeah. In fact, Amber turned me on to a translation app when I was over there in Detroit, and I kind of started playing with it a little bit, but you know, yeah, I mean, the more the merrier. I don't speak Portuguese, so anything I can use to get by, you know, is going to be a good thing. I hope some of these guys speak English. I have no clue.
They should know enough English.
Easier.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
I think people in Brazil tend to know enough English just from, I mean, in the MMA world, just from watching the UFC. They'll know basic terms.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a boxing seminar in Mexico City, which is, you know, the capital. And with the exception of, you know, a few people, I mean, almost everybody over there was speaking English as well. And, you know, I don't think Brazil is going to be a whole lot different, but
you're gonna come back with an accent, man. You're gonna be on the show. Yeah. It's gonna be ridiculous. I'm like, what, coach? What? But hopefully you will pick up. I mean, when in Rome, man. You know, but be careful with the water. I have to say, bottled water.
Yeah. I had Mike. You know, I went out and went bowling with Mike Pierce and Crystal and my goddaughter Mimi, who, you know, made an appearance on the show last week for my birthday. Yesterday went out, and he fought over there in Brazil, and he kind of gave me the heads up on some of the you know, the stuff, and he said the food's amazing. He goes, man, you won't even believe the fruit over there. He goes, when you bite into the fruit, you'll remember what fruit used to taste like before all this GMO bullshit that they're doing with the food here in the States now. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to getting over there and eating a piece of fruit that actually tastes like fruit, because
mango.
You know, yeah, in this country, it you know, the food has definitely gone downhill. So
what's that crap that they like? What's it called? A chiva or what?
Acai.
Bony acai. Yeah. Whatever that shit is. You're going to be hooked on that. Bring me back some, man. But Jake,
I don't even know what that is.
Me neither. I have no idea, but you're going to learn.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Right. Jake from the MMA podcast had some questions for you.
Yeah, I was going to ask if you had ever been to Brazil, but I think you just answered that. You recently were in Mexico City. Have you ever been down anywhere in South America before?
Mexico 3 times is about as close as I've come. I had a trip planned for Belize once, and that kind of fell through. And then I think Chris Folsom had a fight scheduled in Panama, and we were going to go down there, and that ended up falling through. So yeah, I think Mexico is as close as I've come down to like South America.
True. Yeah, you briefly mentioned the 16-hour plane ride. I got anxious enough for my 4-hour trip home from Colorado to Florida, you know, and I was loading my phone up with movies and apps and games and everything, you know, I could think of. What sort of things are you doing to, you know, get ready for being on an airplane for 16 hours? Ugh.
Well, I was complaining. We were talking, you and me, Jake, were talking the other day, and I was complaining about my iPhone battery, and you actually turned me on to external battery that I could order on Amazon. Amazon better send us a check for this free plug on this show.
That's right.
By the way. But so I ordered one of those, and so I've got my battery for my phone juiced up. Hopefully, it's. And then I went out and I bought a external hard drive. It's a wireless hard drive that transmits between the phone and the hard drive. Apparently, you don't need internet for this thing to communicate back and forth. I just got it. It's barely pulled out of the box a couple hours ago. I have no idea how to use it, with the exceptions of me kind of goofing around trying to transfer some pictures from A to B. It still doesn't have anything on it. I've got a roommate that is pretty good at this stuff, so I think I'm going to hit him up a little later and try to get some movies onto the thing so I have something to watch. But, man, I spent so much time on airplanes lately, flying back from here to there. Like, I don't know. 16 hours is going to be the longest trip on an airplane, I believe. I've gone to Puerto Rico, and I don't think Puerto Rico was 16 hours. So this will definitely be, hopefully the airplane's got some leg room, man.
They never do. They never do.
Yeah, as much as I complain on airplanes on Twitter, you guys will see me complain when I get bad service. JetBlue is awesome. And the last one I took, Frontier, kind of screwed us for a second, but it ended up being a good flight. I'm not on U.S. Airways, so thank God for that, because that's like the worst freaking airplane service you'll ever get. So
you're damn right. Word on the street.
Yeah. I was on like a 16-hour flight back in the day. I think I was in middle school. I went to Australia, and the only thing I can recommend is try and plan it out where you just have a good sleep on the flight, because taking 7 or 8 hours out of that 16 is critical. Definitely walk around and all that good stuff. Final thing before I pass it off to Ramses. Obviously, the question on the mind of Team Darkside is just y'all's safety. We all want you to be safe, and there's obviously a bunch of people in Brazil who aren't huge Chael Sonnen fans. I don't want to get into the specifics of it, obviously, but do you is Lorenzo and Dana sending down the Zuffa Secret Service? What
Expendables?
Yeah, right. What is the situation going to be there?
I don't. I'm not sure what I can say, what I can't say. I did get an email with some of that information. One of the guys apparently that is in charge of security is bad. It's a bad motherfucker, man. It's just based on what I've read. He's a guy that is very experienced in this type of thing. I did hear something about an armored car.
Nice.
So they're aware of the situation. But it's one of those things. I mean, it might not just be, I don't want to, harp on, Brazil in the sense that they all want to like string us up and throw rocks at us. But I mean, of course there's those elements in a dangerous country. Michael Jackson at the peak of his fame, had security around him, not because everybody hated him, but at that time because everybody loved him. Same thing with, Mike Tyson or anybody, anybody famous like that. Like I said, I've got a feeling that Chael potentially is more famous in Brazil than he is even here in the States. So I think one of the precautions to that type of, when you're in that public eye like that, is people just want to be around you, period. And when you have a large gathering of people that always want to be around you, you don't really know what some of their intentions are. And it probably could be a very small percentage, because I think more than anything, a lot of people are just going to want to meet Chael and shake his hand and get a picture. But, there's always those precautions that you take, even when everybody loves you.
Oh, yeah.
So, I think that it's just, I'm sure Dana and Lorenzo or the UFC and the people that they've got in place for this are going to do their job. So I'm not too worried about it, but at the same time, I'm not going to be dumb. We're going to be safe.
Always stay ready is the motto.
Don't get ready, stay ready.
Exactly, man. And yeah, I think you were onto something. It will be like Rocky 4. He's gonna go down there, and then it's gonna end with Chael Sonnen giving a speech. If I can change, you can change. And they're all gonna love him. That's the way it's gonna be. And then he's gonna beat the shit out of Wanderlei Silva. That is the word on the street, the word on the favela. Coach, man, obviously we'd love to keep hearing updates. As soon as you know what the situation is really like, when those wheels land, when you figure out that connection stuff going, let me know. We'll get you back on the show as soon as possible. Like I said, I'll let you know when we're recording with the Brazilian Chill Fan Club. They specifically want you on with the interview. Hopefully we can make that happen, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. So before we let you go, Coach, where can people find you, contact you, look you up? What is the word on the street?
Website, www.coachjamiehuey.com. Twitter, at coachjamiehuey.com. I'm sorry, not .com, just at Coach Jamie Huey. I've got another Twitter account that you'll actually see on my Twitter account. UFC Coach Huey. That one I use a little different. I kind of put some philosophies, and I hear something that really kind of strikes me as something that maybe I need to apply or something that I think somebody else could use. I use that Twitter account as well. Those are the best ways to get a hold of me. You can email me. My email's on my Twitter account as well. So
yeah, awesome, man. I can't say it enough. Watch your back, but I don't think you're going to need to. They're going to love you. They're going to love Team Sonnen. Best of luck to you. Sorry about the shitty plane flight. I recommend, if you get Netflix or Amazon, watching the full run of the show, The Shield. And also, I don't know if you ever watched it. It did one season on the FX network. It was a boxing show called Lights Out. Did you ever see that?
I saw the first episode of it, and I didn't have any time for TV back then. So, but yeah, actually, I hadn't heard it. I hadn't thought about that since I saw it. That was a good season, a good series.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely was so. It's a damn shame they didn't pick up season 2, but they it was one of those things where they knew there was going to be no season 2, so it's a self-contained start to finish, and the finish. Okay. And the finish will have you thinking, and it was well done, actually. Lights out for anybody. Okay. A boxing show, although there was one bullshit episode where the guy from The Boxer, he fights Boss Rutan in an MMA match, and he escapes a rear naked choke from Boss Rutan with some bullshit move that would never ever work. Anyway, just those are some shows to watch. I know you're going to be, hopefully you'll be out there walking the streets having a good time, but you might be closed up somewhere, locked up with armed guards. I don't know. You're going to have to let us know. But, yeah, Coach, anything else you wanted to add before we just let you go?
No, man, just, we appreciate the continued support from everybody. We're going down there to represent the team and have a good experience, hopefully, and get all the exclusive stuff obviously here on the Word on the Street podcast, man. This is where you're going to hear it before everybody else, man. So everybody keep looking.
Hell yeah. That is Coach Jamie, the living legend Huey. Coach, I'll DM you, and we'll figure this all out, but have a safe flight. Damn, you're getting out of this cold weather right here. I heard it's actually hot over there. So, that's
I heard the 80s. Yeah, it went from 3 feet of snow to mild rain to 80, 90 degree weather within 2 weeks. So,
yep.
Hopefully flu or something.
Yeah, no, dose up right now on those vitamin C. You know what to do, man. I don't have to tell you. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for getting Glena Avila, all the guests that we had last week for your birthday episode and the end of the year episode. It is the year 2000. Chill. That is Coach Jamie, the living legend, Huey, Team Sonnen Coach, off to Brazil tomorrow. Coach, we'll talk to you as soon as possible. Stay safe.
All right, guys. Talk soon.
Take it easy.
Bye.
And there he goes, people, leaving just me and Jake. And Jake, we're gonna do some kind of 2-for-1 tonight, aren't we? People tuning in, you're about to get 2 shows for the price.
Yeah. We're actually gonna wrap up the word on the street and then switch over to the MMA podcast you stream. Last night it was really unfortunate. It didn't really work out. It was the first night I had my new computer, but it was also the first night since I moved in to Denver about 6 months ago where the internet just was off for like an hour, and I assume it had something to do with the snowfall and the extreme low temperatures nationwide, but obviously especially in Denver. We only were able to get about 45 minutes of the MMA podcast last night and talk about 168. So we're going to chat a little bit more here. I don't know what Ramses wanted to talk about and had in the store.
No. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. I was just going to bring up the fact that Cormier ain't going to make weight. But we'll get to all.
Let's talk about that. All right.
Let's tease it a little bit. We're going to be talking about Cruz being out. We're going to talk about maybe some Brock Lesnar Fedor rumors. Who knows? Jake, it's going to go down. We're going to end the Word on the Street podcast. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Glena Avila. Contact her. MMA Heartless on Twitter. GlenaTheMovie.com. At Coach Jamie Huey. At the MMA podcast. We'll see you here next week, hopefully, with the Chael Sonnen Brazilian fan club. We'll break the language barrier. We'll talk to them. We'll interact for the first time. Meeting of minds, hopefully. And, that's all I got. Follow me, The Aunt Jimmy Show on Twitter. And just watch Twitter right now, and you'll get the next... the show is about to pick up on the other side. The MMA podcast with Jake. Thank you so much. We're out.
Stay black. And I'm coming through the door, quick to whoop you up and knock your ass to the floor. Think I'm playing with you, but this fist gon' hit you. Always in the hood, #1 with split. Never try to stop, cause you know you can't compete.